Hey, ladies and gentlemen, let us go to lesson 2 of part 3, and let us discuss the rationale of an article I have found in the National Association of Realtors website. Let us talk about it. So what they say over here is, as you can see from the graph, that the average cost of mortgage is almost equivalent to the average cost of rent. So practically they say, why rent? Since you can buy a house with the same payment. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is not correct. Why is it not correct? This argument has been used for ages, but let us examine it in detail. First of all, in that mortgage calculation, they do not include a list of expense items to you. They only include the principal payment and the interest payment of the mortgage. Those are not the only payments you're going to make, ladies and gentlemen. Number one, they do not include any closing costs. And that is a cost for us. If I pay $10,000 for a mortgage, when I sign a mortgage at the beginning of a 30-year period, that $10,000 represents an opportunity cost for me because I could have invested that money in the stock market and I could have made a hefty return. Number two, they do not include any real estate taxes or any school taxes. Now, what do they say about that? What it is generally said about taxes, real estate taxes, that they'll come out of taxes. They'll come out of your income tax return. This is not correct either. Real estate taxes will not come out of your income tax. They will come out of your taxable income. I will explain that in a second. Let us make an example. Let us say that you have a gross income of $120,000 and your taxable income is $80,000 and your income tax is $15,000. Perfect. Now, real estate taxes will not come out of the $15,000 income tax. They will lower your taxable income. That is, from $80,000, it's going to go to $75,000. And you'll be taxed on that. So practically, in the end, you're going to avoid the cost of real estate taxes to the equivalent of your tax rate, to the equivalent rate that you pay for taxes. That is, if the real estate taxes are $5,000 and your tax rate is 30%, then what you will avoid from real estate taxes at the end of the year is 30% times $5,000, that is $1,500. The rest of the $3,500, you are going to pay for it. Okay? So that is something that we need to keep in mind. They do not include in the calculations any HOA fees, any homeowners association fees. That's a big expense in some places. They do not include in the calculations any maintenance expenses. Those expenses are between 1% and 4% of the home value on a yearly basis. They also do not include any home insurance cost. So now at this point, what do we need to do? We need to calculate all that cost, to calculate it, and see what's happening with the house as an investment. So I researched around and I could not find a calculator. So I've had to do it from scratch in Excel myself. I have done it. I'm open to feedback. I'm open to criticism. By all means, yes, of course, we're going to have percentages that you might say it's lower, it's higher, but it is there. We must pay insurance when we buy a house. Now, if we buy a house with a less than 20% down payment, we also need to pay mortgage insurance, which is separate from the house insurance. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us have a look at the exact cost of a house as an investment. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let us please have a look at the Excel calculator that I have created. It is as detailed as I could make it. Of course, I would love your feedback, but let us have a look at it very quickly. Let's go over here, the price of the house. Let us have a look at all the factors. So the price of the house, $250,000 at 0.0. That is, we bought the house, $250K, any year, it doesn't matter. The mortgage rate, 4%, very cheap. Down payment, $12,500. The real estate taxes at a mere 1.5% of the price of the house. Home insurance per month, $80. Mortgage insurance per month, $175. Updates and maintenance, 2%. Estimated closing cost, $10,000. This is it. The future value of the house, that is, the value of the house after 30 years, $450,000. And so the assumed appreciation, which is very close to that of the National Association of Realtors, is 80%. It's somewhat more in our own calculations. Perfect. Let us have a look at the columns of the spreadsheet. Over here, we have the interest expense of our mortgage, the monthly interest expense. Over here, we have the monthly principal expense, the monthly payment that goes into principal. We have our home insurance, mortgage insurance, maintenance, taxes, and here we have the interest and principal amount to which the National Association of Realtors refers to. Now, as you can see, that is $1,200 for a period of 360 months. Okay, perfect. Now, if we include, however, all the real cost that we need to pay, that monthly outflow, that monthly cost that we have related to our house almost doubles. It goes up to $2,100. And it can be more. The rates and numbers that I put in are very modest. So it can be a lot more. But let us say that it doubles. So when we make decisions about housing, we need to consider all the factors related to the cost of housing. That is why some people, they say, you know what, I would prefer to rent so that I don't have all that. This is not the discussion. Again, I'm going to say it one more time. This is not a rent versus mortgage discussion. You can do anything you want. For me, what's important to convey to you is whether you rent or mortgage, you need to have full knowledge of what you're doing. And number two, you need to be able to accumulate capital on a monthly basis. And when you pay 35% of your income in housing, that's very difficult to do. So avoid large rents, avoid large mortgages like a plague. And now let us have a look. I'm sorry to say this. This number will not be accepted by some of you because you might be homeowners, but I sat down and I have calculated the present value of all the future inflows and outflows when it comes to housing. And if we take those factors into consideration and we accept an 80% increase in the price of the house, still, ladies and gentlemen, the present value of that, of this housing project, of this housing investment for you is negative. I'm sorry to say that, but this is what it is. This is what the numbers say. This is not what I say. This is what the numbers say. Let me make that clear. So we go out and we buy a house and we pay for 30 years and we pay the interest and the principal and all the related expenses that we take into consideration. In the end, not only we have not made anything out of it, but we have lost, ladies and gentlemen, $40,000. Now you're going to say, oh, just a second. So this is not an investment. No, housing is not an investment. It's a commodity. We need the house the way we need the car, the way we need clothing, the way we need furniture. And nobody invests in the long term in clothing or cars or furniture so that the value appreciates. I would like you to know that before I have created this calculator, I did not know that myself. We talked with my students at the university in class about it, and you have access, full access to this Excel spreadsheet. Everybody in this class has access to the Excel spreadsheet to put in and plug in the numbers that you like, by all means, and see how you fare with your own housing situation. For me, to close this lesson, what's important above anything else, mortgages, costs, insurances, rent, etc., what's important to me is your ability to accumulate capital on a monthly basis that you will not need at any point in the future. Okay? This is what I would like to focus on. Okay. Thank you.